Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5 a.m. Club. I just hopped off the train here at Circular Quay, and as I always say to myself, where else in the world can you hop off a train, be in a public space and be exposed to this absolute masterpiece known as Circular Quay, Sydney Harbour, where you've got this beauty that presents itself every single morning. Looks like the wind's coming in from the east. It's mild. It's starting to feel summery already. So what we'll do is we'll do what we normally do. We'll do a book summary, and I've got an absolute beauty today to share with you. And the book is entitled No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. What a book, what a message. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that we can take, a lot of life hacks that we can take from this book. Especially to my male audience, my friends, but also to the females out there, to help understand a little bit better the challenges that most men face in this day and age. So the call to action from this book, from this author, is for men to lose the nice guy syndrome. Because being a nice guy, being nice, overly trying to be nice and accommodative is damaging to them as well as to all the others around them. Because what happens is, if you try to be too nice all the time, you won't have or lead a fulfilling life, according to the author, and you'll just live with disappointment and resentment is the key takeaway from this author. I remember years ago hearing a quote where somebody said that the enemy of the great is the good. And what it means is that if you're too good with people around you, you'll get used and abused, and you'll never achieve the greatness that you have been called to in terms of your life. Because each of us have a calling or multiple callings. But if you're spending all your time being nice and helping others all the time, then you're never going to achieve or fulfill your mission on life, or in life, I should say. So an example of a Mr. Nice Guy is a person who is a giver, will go out of their way to give. The people who are fixers will go out of their way to fix other people's problems but neglect their own challenges. Are caretakers to other people but don't take care of themselves. They are puppies. They are approval seekers, always seeking other people's approval. And they are, worst of all, conflict avoiders. They avoid conflict at all costs, which ends up costing them the most, because they end up hiding their mistakes, hiding their flaws, and living with repressed feelings for their entire life, which sooner or later will bubble to the surface and cause major issues to them and to those around them. It's very, very dangerous, according to this author, to make other people your emotional center. And the nice guys, the Mr. Nice Guys, are defined by their actions and not their beliefs. But what happens? What happens to these people is that once the time goes by and they see a limited or no return on their investment in the people around them, in their families, their friends, their circles, their communities, their work, they become very, very resentful. And these repressed feelings can only be held back for so long. It's important to understand, I didn't quite understand this earlier, but now I appreciate it a lot more, that Mr. Nice Guys, the Mr. Nice Guys in the world, are the ones who are the greatest manipulators, because they don't use direct communication. They can't set boundaries. They're passive aggressive. They can't be fulfilled. They live a parallel sort of universe where you don't really know what they're thinking or where you stand with them, and this can be a challenge in itself. So what the author here is saying, and the big call to action, is for people, men in general, to accept their flaws, to be authentic, not to be false and fake, and to live their truth and not to live a lie. So it's important to identify and live your truth, to live an authentic life so that you're fulfilled and the ones around you don't feel as if they're being oppressed or being manipulated or being tricked or not knowing what you're really like or what you're really trying to achieve, and just feeling uncomfortable with your niceness all the time and what you may be hiding and harboring. Because what happens is that once you let go of your Mr. Nice syndrome, according to the author, you will gain respect when living an integrated life, and you'll become a lot more attractive to people who matter most. Just imagine, the author gives us a question here and asks us, if you didn't think about what people thought about you, how would you live your life? And the key barrier, the key hurdle to overcome from this author is that men need to stop seeking approval. Because what happens is that most people, and this is the author's view, not my particular view, but he says that most people are miserable and they dislike what they fear and envy. And we all need to understand it's not about us, it's about them. So if people have issues, it doesn't have anything to do about us. It's got to do about them trying to find themselves, trying to find their authentic self, and trying to live their truth and not being manipulative and wimps in their lives. The author calls us all to make yourself the priority, to stop blaming others for your situation and to take massive action. Being assertive and take away your hidden agenda is a key goal and a key message from this book. And you don't have to live your life being a victim or being a wimp. And by all means, don't try and make bad relationships work. And the way we get around this and through this is by setting boundaries. The author says the key lesson for men is to set boundaries, boundaries and boundaries, and to take full responsibility for your needs rather than delegating that responsibility to your parents, your siblings, your partner, your children, your grandparents, your family, your friends, your work peers. Take responsibility for your own needs and don't try to control the things outside of your control. Don't try and control other people in order to feel fulfilled, needed, and part of their lives. Each of us need to live our own life and to be comfortable in what we do, what we say, and how we behave, of course, being sensitive to other people's needs and finding and striking the right balance. But being a puppy dog, being a doormat, and doing everything for everybody else will leave you empty, according to this author. And for that reason, you need to take charge of your life in order to live the life that you deserve, to serve your calling, and to make the most of the skills and the charisma that you have been given by God. Anyway, I'm going to hop on this train, finish off this vlog. So thank you very much for joining me once again on this episode of Jim's 5 AM Club, where we've been through yet another awesome book. And today's lesson, as we said, let me just hop in here. And today's book summary was entitled No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert A. Glover, where we've been called to lose the Mr. Nice Guy syndrome and to take charge of our lives in a nice way, so that we benefit and all of those benefit around us. Because as my manager at IBM, Greg Leeson, said, if you don't look after yourself, then nobody is going to take responsibility for who you are and who you become. And a stronger you, a stronger self, enables you to be more generous, because once your cup is filled, then and only then are you in a position to be more generous and more capable, and to be able to give to others around you. So it's all about finding the balance. It's all about learning to give and take, and not to be, as we said before, the Mr. Nice Guy who lives a resentful life because they are empty and unfulfilled. Take care, everybody, and I look forward to chatting to you again, and I'll come to you from a different place with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can become partners in each other's growth and development, where we can live, learn and pass it on, and build our skill sets to grow and develop, and to be a role model rather than an example, a bad example of what doesn't work in the world. So the bottom line is, take care of yourself. We all need to put a moat around our sanity, to protect ourselves, to build ourselves, and to offer sanctuary to those that we love, and to live the life we're meant to live. Take care, and I look forward to chatting to you again. Bye for now.